Spatchcock Funk is in the house, our house, and your house too. You know where the party's at? Wherever you're at. We're gonna teach you how to throw the best parties, the best dinners, the best get-togethers. All you need is the people you love, and we'll take care of the rest. Spatchcock Funk. Dope food, strong drinks, great stories. The Funk Squad is about the environment. We protect it so we can party in it too. Good old field parties, fishing, climbing the mountains, it's all good, but you know how we get down. We like it rough and dirty.
All right, settle down, dude.
We talking about off-roading, y'all. We like to take things off script and connect with that crunchy fox, Mama Nature. We want to show her the love and grind out some gears and crawl over some trails. And you know we pack in the heat and some fixins too. That's just how we roll. Let's fire it up and go get these things stuck. This is On All Fours. You want to go adventuring? Off-roading, you need a drink that's adventurous and a little bit out of bounds and off the trail. So today we're making the Headlight. This is a jalapeno limeade. It's not too spicy, but it's a little bit creative like we like to be, and it keeps things different. It also lives as a mocktail too because we're operating heavy machinery on the trail and in the bedroom later on, if you get my drift. What we want to make is a drink that's going to really be bright, but also not too powerful, not too hot. So the limeade is something more fun and different than lemonade. You make it at a party, you bring it to your friend's house, and you're like, ooh, limeade? It's cool and different, and that's where this drink lives. So the key ingredients are limes, jalapenos, and kiwis. So the kiwi, we're going to start with a kiwi, and we're going to make a kiwi-infused vodka. So you're going to take a mason jar, pop that open, and we've got about 5 kiwis that are in here. And you'll notice these are golden kiwis, which are fun. They're a little bit sweeter than the green kiwis. And they also add in a little bit of sweetness that makes this limeade balance out so it's not too sour. We've also, as you've noticed, peeled these kiwis. The skin on it actually can add some bitterness into the vodka, and we don't want that. But you know what? Like the other reason why we chose kiwis is the sweetness, but also if you're going off-roading, you need some kiwis to make some good decisions and grind around. So we got that. Then we're gonna add around 3 cups of vodka. We're gonna let that sit for 2 or 3 days. We go 3 and shake it up every little bit, like, you know, a day or two, once or twice a day, shake it, then you're good to go. So that's one key ingredient. When we're out there in the environment trying to take care of Mother Nature, we want to use reusable stuff as much as we can. And for this drink also, by the way, because we got people driving and grinding, we want to make sure people are kind of like not getting too turned up. So we have a setup now where we're going to let them add their booze as needed, depending on who's driving or who's not. Now to make that work, we're actually going to bring flasks with us. And flasks are one of my favorite things. When I was a kid, y'all, my grandfather used to carry a flask around his jacket. And I was like, that's the coolest thing ever. We're at like a church, he's using it. We're having breakfast, he's using it. He's at work all day. No, just kidding. He didn't get down like that most of the time. So we love the flask game. So let's talk about the flask a little bit. One of the things that makes flask valuable is it lets you get booze into places it doesn't always usually live at. I'm not saying work, but maybe you're going to a concert or somewhere else and you know, you don't want to actually buy the drinks there. A disposable flask like this is awesome because it's actually a suntan lotion bottle. So security's checking you. They're like, oh, cool, suntan, bring it in. We also like the disposable flasks too. You can fill those up. And if you're getting patted down into a stadium, you put that into your belt under your shirt. And that's one area they don't check. And if they are, you're in the wrong stadium. Fish flasks, all sorts of flasks work. But we like this one. So we've pre-made some of our kiwi vodka. You always have when you're using a flask, they have little flask funnels. The base of limeade is lime juice, y'all. So we've got 6 cups of lime juice that we painstakingly squeezed. And it takes a lot of limes, but it's worth it. Every good bartender will tell you, fresh lime juice or fresh lemon juice is where it's at, particularly for the base of such a baller drink here. What turns into limeade is actually a really cool jalapeno simple syrup that's pretty easy and fun to make. Add 2 cups of water, 2 cups of sugar, 2 quarter de-seeded and de-ribbed jalapenos, the zest of 1 lime, the zest of 1 orange. Then over medium heat, just stir it until the sugar dissolves for about 10-15 minutes. Once the sugar's dissolved, turn off the heat, take it off the heat, cover it, let it steep for about a half hour and it'll cool off. We've got our lime juice painstakingly squeezed out, and we're making the limeade now. So lemonade, limeade is typically 3 parts your lemon or lime, and then 1 part sugar, and we're using simple syrup because then it won't settle. So we're gonna add in our 2 cups of jalapeno simple syrup. And now we've got our portable container, so it won't break and leave any glass in the woods, and it's good for the environment. So we're gonna take it and shake it up, baby. So we're out in the field, we're gonna use some plastic containers because we wanna protect the environment. But if you're doing this at home for a summer party, something like that, you can use a glass. So we're gonna take it, we're gonna pour it. Now in the field, we're gonna have one of our flasks with us. And we're gonna put in about as much as we want. This is a stiffy, about 2 ounces. Now if you're out in the home environment, we like to garnish it with a jalapeno wedge and a lime wheel. Don't drink and drive, but drink this drink. You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. We're making Lugnuts. This is our salty, crunchy snack while we're out there tearing up the trails. What we're gonna use is big old Peruvian corn nuts. You can buy these in 14-ounce bags, and they're awesome. The Hispanic section of your market, in a Latin supermarket, they're just awesome to use. We create this cool, buttery flavor. As a kid growing up, and even now as an adult, semi-adult, the way these things taste, man, just bring me back and get me excited. Sometimes people will add or flavor them with all sorts of stuff. We make it basically because we've tried it with everything. So we're gonna take our bag and we're gonna add around 2 cups of water, enough to cover them. We're gonna let that sit overnight. Some people, and we've done this many times, we've used beer, white wine, chicken stock, all sorts of stuff. And that gives it some flavor and some color, but honestly, the water brings out the best buttery corn flavor. So let that sit overnight. After they're done soaking, take your cookie sheet, lay out some paper towels on there. And it's weird because we've let them soak in water overnight, but we wanna also get as much excess moisture out as possible. So take them by a handful at a time, pat them dry, then we let them sit for 1 hour out in the air. Our corn kernels have dried out, and let's face it, I could probably use some drying out too. Get a big metal bowl. Take the corn nuts. Add them. 2 tablespoons of sunflower oil. We've tried everything, canola, vegetable, everything you're thinking about. And this is what works best. It gives you the buttery flavor, treats it right. Actually, when you're buying things like this in the store that are pre-made, like corn nuts and those type of things, they usually use palm oil or sunflower oil. This is better than palm oil. We prefer sunflower oil because sunflowers are prettier than palms. JK, JK. Because it's more neutral and it allows the buttery taste to come through. It's a little bit more expensive, but it's also easier to find. Got some cooking spray on our sheet. Spread them evenly in a single layer so they're not on top of each other. Preheat your oven to 400 degrees, not 390, not 410, 400 is the perfect one. We're gonna put it in there for 40 minutes, but every 10 minutes, take a look at it. Give it a stir at 20 minutes definitely, but see how they're going. And start to see the color change. We wanna get into a dark golden brown. To save your time and ours, we had a batch going in the oven. I'm gonna get them into a big metal bowl. So we've got fine sea salt crystals. We're gonna sprinkle in there to a level that we like. And we usually go maybe half a tablespoon, a couple teaspoons, because the salt goes far and brings out all of that buttery goodness. So it's gonna taste good the next day in a reusable container because that's what you do when you're going out in nature. But they're also really great hot too. I just gotta try these, make sure everybody's safe, you know what I mean? Lugnuts, ready to roll. John, what's up, bro?
Hey, how are you? Good to see you.
Great to see you too, buddy.
Thanks
Hey, man,
for
good
coming.
to see you.
Thanks for having us.
All right.
So we're making a bourbon smoked meatloaf, and the star of the meat mix is your awesome lamb.
Oh, wonderful. Well, our lamb is grass-fed, pasture-raised, and it's all produced right here on site. Want to see some?
I sure do.
Dude, he's talking to the Greek guy.
Oh.
Wow.
These guys.
Hey. Hey, guys, this is my son, JJ.
JJ,
Hi,
nice to meet you.
AJ, what's up, man?
So are these lamb or are they sheep?
So these are lamb. They're pasture raised, all natural grass. They're beautiful. They make great wool, great meat.
Awesome. Look at this guy. I think he wants to eat you.
Yeah, so that's one of our guard dogs. They protect the lambs, and this is where nutritious meets delicious. A 3-ounce serving of lamb gives you all the B12 you need for the day. Additionally, high in selenium, high in zinc, really good, healthy for the human body, and most importantly, super high in conjugated linoleic acid, CLA, really important for human health.
I've been low on selenium lately.
Yeah, I can tell. You look it. But you won't be after this. Beautiful, tasty, delicious. This is awesome.
Awesome.
We'll
Let's
take
grab some, yeah.
Smoke them if you got them. We're making bourbon smoked meatloaf, actually into a sandwich, and we call it the smoking transmission. Because if it's smoking on the trail, we got a great crew with us, they can fix it. So we're gonna fix them an absolutely killer smoking hot sandwich. And it's a meatloaf. It's my grandmother's recipe that we've kind of moved around and got to get to the perfect place. She liked bourbon, she liked to drink, liked to make meatloaf, so that's what we're gonna do. Before we do anything else though, we took a bunch of wood chips for our smoker, which is smoking right now, and we soaked them in bourbon for 2 days, then dried it for 2 days. So all of the chips smell like bourbon, and that's pretty dope. We've got our big bowl, and we've got 3 pounds of meat in here. We've got a pound of 80/20 ground beef, we got a pound of veal, ground veal, and from Ellie's Acres, we just scooped up, we got a pound of lamb. Now, another way to help the environment is to buy stuff locally from local farms, farmers markets. Do right by the environment. Buying small usually means there's gonna be shorter distances, less emissions in the atmosphere. It's just better overall. It's another way to keep Earth going the right direction. So let's get this sandwich in the right direction. First, we got the ground meat. The next thing we're gonna do is we are gonna shred mushrooms. It gets more moisture into it as it's cooking, which is really dope. And it's just a fun way, a new thing to do. So we've got a couple baby portobellos, 2 tree. Now we're added some shredded Parmesan cheese. Maybe a cup, but we like to go heavy because we like it. Just like a friend group, you gotta bind things together. For us, the binding thing is parties, hanging out, being there for each other. For a meatloaf, it's breadcrumbs. So we're putting in some seasoned Italian regular breadcrumbs. Don't use panko for this one. After that, we got 2 also locally produced eggs. Add some milk, whole milk, get the fattiness in there. Got a pretty big chopped up white onion. We got garlic powder, keep the vampires away. Onion powder, a little salt, some ground black pepper, and my grandmother's secret ingredient that kind of brings things together, poultry seasoning. Last but not least, 8-ounce can of tomato sauce. You can use different things to mix it, but we like to mix by hand. And sorry, Stephanie, but I'm taking my ring off here. No, just kidding. I'm not gonna do that. But I don't wanna get anywhere in jewelry, you don't want that into your mixing. And I only take off my wedding ring for mixing meatloaf when I'm out of town. So get your hands dirty, just kidding. Get your hands dirty here and mix this up until it's all about the same color. Stephanie and Alex might not agree, but your boy's not perfect. And I forgot the 2 best ingredients. We're gonna put a tablespoon of pure maple syrup. And then because we're putting bourbon on everything today, we're gonna put a tablespoon of bourbon in there too, and then mix it all up again. Our recipe makes about 8 generous servings. So what we've got here are 2 9x5 loaf pans. And what we've done is put a bunch of tin foil in them and sprayed it so we can actually lift it out and put it in the smoker. So set your meatloaf mix over to the side. Get your 2 things in front of you. Take half of it. You're gonna place it into your pan and then spread it out evenly so you fill it up as close to the edge as you can and press down so we can get those tight corners on it. So meanwhile, while the smoker's going, every few minutes we're adding some more bourbon on top of those wood chips and getting that bourbon flavor going. Then we're gonna bake them in the oven, so we're gonna get a really, really, really great mix. This is the trick with the foil. When we're smoking it, the loaf is now shaped like the loaf pan that we're gonna put it back in later on. But we can lift this out, and then when we put it into the smoker, we can roll up the sides a little bit, get some of the meat exposed, and you're gonna get a lot of the smoke into the thing itself. So we get all that bourbony, gorgeous, smoky flavor. After 3 hours, we pulled these out of the smoker, and then we're gonna glaze it. Now the maple glaze, we put on a couple times during the 3-hour smoke session, and then we're gonna do it one more time before it goes in the oven at 375 for about 45 minutes. To make the bourbon maple glaze, about a half cup of maple syrup, about a quarter cup of bourbon, quarter cup of brown sugar, a couple tablespoons of yellow mustard, over medium heat for about 15 minutes, stirring occasionally until it gets a little syrupy. Now slide them in and glaze them 1 or 2 more times over the 45 minutes. Look at this beautiful meatloaf. We're gonna go extra, and we're gonna fry this puppy for our sandwich. So we're gonna open it up, take a slicer, we're gonna slice off. We're gonna go about 1.5 inches thick and see that good juiciness. And it's gonna fall apart in the pan a little bit, which we want, and then we're good to go. Ooh, look at this sexy little smoke show. We got melted American cheese all over the top of it. And this is not just regular American cheese, because we do love America, but this is sharp American cheese. So it's gooey, it's got this nice little bite to it, almost like a cheddar. Then we're gonna hit it with some pickled red onions, a little tartness to combat all that sweet, bourbony, maple syrupy goodness. Our bourbon ketchup, we're gonna put on the top bun. For an easy bourbon ketchup, a few tablespoons of bourbon, 16-ounce can of tomato sauce, 6-ounce can of tomato paste, teaspoon or so of liquid smoke, a little bit of apple cider vinegar, garlic powder, onion powder, a couple tablespoons of brown sugar, salt, pepper, a couple shakes of hot sauce. Over medium heat, heat it all together for about 5 minutes until it thickens up. You're good to go. And how we're gonna roll tomorrow when we're rolling our 4-wheelers around, wrap it in the foil, we're gonna put on top of the engine block, heat the engine, let it go, and it's just gonna melt the cheese and heat everything to perfection. Let's check the transmission. All engines are a go. When we're partying, we look to have a treat, and we're going off in the woods, ripping, dipping, and diving. So not only are we gonna make a treat, we've got a treat for you, because we have a treat of a person, my great homegirl, the awesome Ariel.
Hey, Matt.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. You ready to bake?
I am. Let's get it going.
So the reason why we're bringing her here is not just because she's fun. Like, I work out with this girl 6 times a week. We hang out a lot, and she's here to kind of babysit my cooking like she babysits me at the bar sometimes, because my baking skills pale in comparing to hers, and that actually happens at the gym too. Is that true?
Sometimes.
The deal here is we're making a whoopie pie with almost like denser chocolate chip cookies, all right? And then instead of like whipped cream, we're making a stabilized filling, like a Jeep, like anything else got stabilizers.
Yeah, I love it.
Now, a lot of people, including me, aren't as great bakers as she is, a lot of other friends that we have. So this one is a shortcut to make a really great cookie using some kind of pre-made ingredients. So I'm gonna start us out by putting in a box of about 19 ounces. We're using brownie mix, right? So that's gonna make things get a little chocolatey and deep like we want. So we're gonna take that, and then I'm gonna put our eggs in.
Hold on. I got a tip for you.
Okay.
When you're baking, add your chocolate chips or whatever you're going to mix in to your dry ingredients first. Mix it up, and it'll help it spread more evenly as it bakes.
Love it, and I love spreading things evenly, like my jokes. So let's throw those in there and we'll mix that up. Okay, got a cup of chocolate chips, got a quarter cup of flour. So your tip, just mix it like this. Okay.
Perfect.
3 tablespoons of water and a quarter cup of vegetable oil. Now we're gonna add a couple eggs in here. So what are some ways to make sure you don't mess up the ingredients? Because it's like chemistry sometimes.
It really is. So one tip I guess that I could give is that you want to be very precise with your measurements.
Okay.
You can do that by using a scale to weigh out your ingredients rather than using cups. If you have a scale and if you're up for that.
Yeah, I'm up for it. I mean, a little late for that now, I guess.
That's all right. It'll be perfect.
We got our oven preheated at 350. We got a greased cookie sheet. Let's make some cookies.
Let's do it.
All right. So when you're scooping this at home, like my girl's doing here, she is very clean and proper. So she's using 2 things instead of her hands getting all messy, but this gets you more uniform size cookies. Is that right?
I would say so. So this kind of batter gets pretty messy. So we're just gonna drop them right onto the sheet.
Yeah, let's cream some stuff up.
Hold on. First, we got a cup of butter,
Okay.
cup of sugar, and we're going to do a splash of vanilla.
Yeah. Okay, ready?
Let's do it.
I can go.
Yeah.
So I made a stabilizer. So it is flour and milk that we heated up and kept stirring so it forms this thick paste. And that's gonna keep our cream filling, this icing, kind of together so it holds its sturdy shape.
Awesome.
All right, let's do it. We're just gonna keep doing this so it gets to a whipped cream consistency.
All right.
We got those stiff peaks like whipped cream, so now we're just gonna refrigerate it 10, 15 minutes, and now we can start building some cookies.
Awesome. I don't know if I can eat all of this.
I like my chances.
Maybe we should make them a little smaller.
Let's try them.
Okay.
Fat tires. Let's hit the road. Yo, having this great time with some great people like y'all makes me think about maybe my favorite all-time off-roading story.
I know this one.
You might have heard
I
it.
think I might have heard a little bit about it.
But you know what? You're gonna hear my version, the unabridged version,
The embellished version.
the victor's version. So we're playing golf, and I did not win that, at this awesome tournament that Chris had at his golf course. And there's a big party on a hill, so, you know, we're putting it down. And down the hill, I see in the parking lot this incredible Jeep, man, this black Renegade with like 75-inch tires. Like, you needed a ladder to get into this thing, right? They were at least 75 inches.
36.
36,
Yeah.
okay.
Give or take.
You know, I mismeasure inches sometimes. I'm like, yo, dude, what's up with that Jeep? And my man just drops it on me.
Keys are in it, bro.
Keys are in it. So off we go. And we're whipping through the course, end up in a cornfield, and don't I get this thing with my boy J-Rad stuck in a ditch.
That's not surprising given your driving capabilities.
Well, you know, sometimes you gotta cross the line to see where it's at. So we hit the ditch, and Jared's version might be different, but I'm just like, I push this thing out, basically
Yeah,
throw it out.
I'm sure.
So we get it back, and we're like, yo, Chris, we got your Jeep stuck. And he was cool. He was just like, whatever, man, we'll get it tomorrow. So really, that's where the story ended.
Not really, Stephanie. You
No.
know a little bit about this story, don't you?
Well, I do know that I believe that you lost your wallet in that ditch.
Maybe it could have been in many different places.
Yeah,
It was
probably.
used a few different times.
It's been in multiple ditches.
Yeah. I mean, I used it to show the Jeep. I'm like, my ID, like, you don't want to stay in this ditch with me here, bro.
About 2 years later, I see the Jeep going through the village of Baldwinsville. So it's Ryan. I wave. Next week, I see Matt going through the village. I wave. I didn't get it back for 2 years, covered in mud. May have been a few bits and pieces broken off of it, but I know they had a good time, which was extremely
I
important to me.
certainly hope so after 2 years.
You know what? It was a great time. And you know what? It was one of, President Company Excluded, one of the best 2-year relationships I've ever had. Y'all keep exploring and grinding, being good to you and our planet, because it's the only one we got. No poaching, polluting, looting, just loving, partying, and doing the damn thing right. Pack a lunch and some drinks, kick the tires, get out there and get dirty. Like Red said, get busy living or get busy dying.
Let's f***ing go.
You heard her.
That's a rap, man. Enough of them facts, man. A slap to the face. Reality's back, hand. I'm trying to keep it real and keep my stacks, fam. But empty's killing for a rack, rapping in a trash can. Like what you saying, dog, you need to backtrack. It's how you claim to be a rapper if you